If your child has recently come out as transgender, or not recently even, you might find that you're having a hard time relating to other parents. It might feel to you that your child is going through things that their child is not, like changing their name, changing their gender presentation, having to figure out what to do about a medical transition. Maybe they're going to start hormones or think about surgery, or all of these things that the children of your other friends are not having to figure out. And all of a sudden you're like, what do we even talk about? Like, how do I interact with these other parents when they don't understand what I'm feeling and what I'm going through, and like, how do we possibly relate to each other anymore? One thing that you might want to think about is that we're all still parents of children, right? And I'm going to circle back to that in a minute. Another thing that you might want to remember is that we all, as parents, and our children in particular, have our own parenting struggles that we don't always necessarily share about. Especially if you're on social media, right? Because we like to put our best foot forward, only show like the highlight reel, and because it makes us feel like we're doing a good job, that we're not failing at this thing called parenting. And so I think sometimes that's really isolating because our kids struggle, especially if you're the parent of an older child. Older children, young adults, teenagers especially, have their own challenges and struggles. And I think sometimes we do ourselves an incredible disservice by not sharing about those, because what it does is it makes us, the collective us as parents, feel really isolated and alone. Because if we just shared about them a little bit more, we would see that we all are experiencing a lot of the same things, and then we could talk about it, and we could be like, oh yeah, you know, my kid is going through that or has been through that too. Like, let me tell you what we did or what worked for us or how my child got through that. Maybe it will help your child, right? And so, having said that, when our kids come out as transgender, like, we're still parenting our kid however old they are, which means that our friends who are parenting their child however old they are, they're still having the same parenting challenge and struggles. They're like, we're still parents. Like, we still have things that we can relate to talk about, and experiences that connect us to them, because at the end of the day, like, the fact that we're parents is what connects us, what gives us that thing that makes us relatable to each other, not the fact that our kids are transgender or not. Like, that's just like a trait about our children. Like, your friend's child might be, who knows, like a redhead, or be a twin, or like any other thing that is a trait about them. Your child is just transgender. That's just a trait about them, right? And then another thing I wanted to talk about is that, on the other hand, you may find that your friends who are parents might be having a hard time relating to you. Like, it's the opposite side of the coin. You might find that they have been pulling away, or they've become distant, because all of a sudden they're like, well, your child is transgender. Like, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to talk to you about that. they might not know what to think about it. And so you might find that they kind of have like withdrawn from you, and you're like, what's going on here? I don't like, what's changed? I mean, I'm still me. I haven't changed. Like, why is there distance here? Like, what am I supposed to do about that? Here's what I want to say about that. This is what I have observed and learned, is that when people don't understand something, or they don't know about something, it's kind of, there's this quote I love. I wrote a whole blog post about this week. It's up on my website already if you want to go read it. People are afraid of what they don't know. And it's not necessarily that they're afraid of your child, or they're afraid of the word transgender, or all those things, because that's not what I'm saying here. But it's along the same idea of that, right? We don't understand something, and so we're afraid to say the wrong thing, or we're afraid that we're going to say something offensive or do something that's going to be wrong. And so what we choose to do instead is nothing. And so I think when our kids come out as transgender, our people are kind of like, whoa, like, what's that all about? And because they don't want to hurt our feelings, and they don't want to hurt our kids, instead of saying something or, connecting with us, they kind of pull away because they're just afraid of saying something wrong or doing something wrong. And it's because they don't have that life lived experience to know what to say or what to do. So like, for example, like if your friend, child, God forbid, was diagnosed with cancer, even if your child has not had cancer, your kid's been sick enough times that you would be able to empathize and have something to be able to say to them, because you know what it's like to have a sick child, right? Even if it's not the same, you've had that lived experience of worrying about your child and, being concerned about them enough to be like, okay, it's not the same, but I can come up with something to say and be there for them. Or if, someone that you love has had somebody pass away, or, if it's their child, God forbid, you have been in the experience of losing somebody and grieving, to be able to be there for them because you've had that lived experience. Unless you have been specifically the parent of a transgender child, you don't have any idea of what that's like. And a lot of times people can't imagine that. They're like, I can't imagine what that is like, to be able to come up with something to say, or to be able to have words or anything to offer. And so instead of just saying, I can't imagine what this is like for you, but I would like to be here to support you in whatever way I can, there are the words, I've just given them to you. They just kind of pull away because they're just afraid to get it wrong, which is really unfortunate. And so it's sometimes up to us to just reach out to people and be like, look, I'm feeling really lonely right now in this. I'd love to just get together with you and, go for a walk or do whatever. And then you get to choose. Are you going to share your experience with them and bring them in, or not? You could just be like, let's go out for coffee and let's just, catch up on what's been going on with ourselves, and just leave the kid part out of it. So I just wanted to talk about those two things. They're kind of the same, just different views on kind of like the same topic this week, and put that out there because it's just something that was on my mind. Like I said, I have a whole post about it-ish up on the website, and there'll be some posts here on the feed throughout the week, and I will be back here talking about something else next week. So we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.